I'm really thrilled to meet Melissa Fernández today on Friday the 19th of May at the London School of Economics to talk about cooperative housing, community development and the future of housing in the United Kingdom. It's really actually a very exciting opportunity, and thrilled to potentially spend an hour or two with her having a conversation about these matters.
I'm talking to Melissa Fernández, and I've had the privilege of talking to her for the last hour. And Melissa, I did one really fascinating thing that you spoke about before so eloquently in conversation, and now I'd like to have a talk to you about it again, just about comparative cultural histories. You've done a lot of research in this particular area. Do you have any concise observation about the success of that in this particular country, and whether Australians can learn from that?
Well, my observation, as I was telling you before, has to do with the potential difference that there might be in British kind of housing cultures versus Dutch or Scandinavian housing cultures, because what we've seen with a lot of the co-housing research that we've been doing over the past years is that the people that get involved in these community movements were, the older people that are involved in these movements were involved in squatter movements and other kinds of quite radical and contestatory housing movements in the 60s and 70s, but that seems to us to be smaller, perhaps, or a smaller group of people than the individuals that are involved with these alternative and co-housing groups today in a place like Holland, for instance. So one of the questions we have, I suppose, I don't actually have the answer to that, but I think it's something worth pursuing and thinking about, is whether the success of Scandinavian co-housing communities and Dutch co-housing communities have anything to do with those kind of housing contestatory cultures from the 60s and the 70s that were quite strong, and that then carried through into local government, into housing association cultures, and how that may be a bit more thwarted in the history of institutionalization of housing in a country like the UK and in a city like London. So supposed to summarize, I think there is continuity in terms of the people that are involved in these communities being people that were part of alternative movements in the 60s and 70s. However, there's an open question there about whether those movements were stronger in Scandinavian and in Dutch contexts, and that strength and that kind of contestation then became part of the mainstream in a way that it hasn't carried through in the UK. So that may be making a difference in terms of the success of one place versus another, and that would be one factor probably amongst many, but I think it is worth thinking about, because I don't know how that plays out in Australia.
Very much similarly to the UK, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful pleasure meeting you, and thank you for sharing and spending some time with us.
Thank you for the interview. Yeah.
Okay.